I'd like to welcome everyone to the weekly check-in. I'm John Perrotta, my great co-host, my great friend Jessica Leigh. How you doing, Jessica?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We're going back to our roots because about 4 months ago, back in May, we started the weekly check-in. You came up with the name because you're a therapist during the day. So why don't we do a show every week? We'll call it the weekly check-in. And it's a good idea, and we did it. Been going about 4 months now. We do it once a week, and I do the chats, Comedy Factory chats, a couple other nights, and having fun. It's kind of helping us get through the pandemic, you know.
I know that's my favorite part because like in the beginning, like when we were trying to get this thing started and then like we couldn't do it, like we couldn't do the Facebook Live, and like everyone was like, why do I keep seeing like 30-second videos of you and John Perrotta and then they disappear? and
like, we tried hard.
We did. But what ended up being great about this is like you at first you were like, I don't know about like this Zoom thing. And then like all of a sudden I turn around and you're like, yeah, I'm doing like 4 of these a week with like everybody. I'm like,
I'm having fun. Yeah, when we started, we tried to go Zoom to Facebook Live. I don't know if it's the internet or whatever. It wound up kept cutting us off. So then I said, I'm buying a new laptop. I did that, and it still cut us off. Then I got a new internet from Cox Cable called the Gigablast. I got that. So now I get the best internet. I got a new laptop. It's not going to throw us off now. It threw us off. And It's been a blessing in disguise, Jess, because as you know, we record it and then we put it on later. And it's been better that we did this because some of the comics have said some stuff that we couldn't air it.
oh, right.
We couldn't air it. So actually, I wanted to be Facebook Live. But as it turns out, I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah, it really sometimes things just kind of work out. And,
this would not still be going if we were Facebook Live.
I know. I know. There's especially like when we've come to like a screeching halt. Like I'm happy that no one else sees that, and that we can just like re-record the video, and now nobody knows which videos we're talking about where these things happened. Whereas if it was Facebook Live, somebody would have been in the doghouse for sure. I think.
Yeah,
so.
and you and I were the first. You and I did one by ourselves, and 1 or 2 before we started having other comics on, and now we're kind of, like I said, going back to our roots tonight because it's you and I. So we usually have a few comics on, but a couple that were scheduled couldn't make it. So I messaged you yesterday. You said, "Why don't we'll do it like we used to?" So we're doing like the old days, 4 months ago.
I know.
It seems like a long time ago, Jess.
I'm sitting at the bar with you at Copperfields and talking, and now it's through the screen.
We had fun that last mic at Copperfields that you hosted. That was a fun night.
That was really fun. Yeah, that was definitely. I know. I like that mic over there for like the midweek stuff. And that's something that. Yeah, weren't they going to try to do something over there for like a show, and then it didn't?
Yeah, they were going to, but then it's he's got another place. I'm not sure if it opened yet. He's opening another location, so hopefully, eventually we'll get all the places I booked basically not basically most of them are not doing it.
I'm trying to think of what my last show was like before this happened, and I'm not sure if it was that night at Copperfields or not. But I know that like right before this happened was the contest that I judged at in Warwick, the
Knights of Columbus.
Yeah, which is a really fun show. But yeah, that was crazy. Like all of a sudden, I had like a billion like really really fun shows lined up because I was booked with you for like a few things this summer that were going to be like awesome, and then everything like ended up like shutting down. I'm like, be kidding me.
And then you did that brewery in I think it was Taunton. I had you, Rock and Joe Ebert, and
for Valentine's Day. Yep.
Someone else. That was a Valentine's Day, and that was a great. I don't know what's going on with that place. They were going to do more, but I haven't heard from them because of the virus. But I was looking forward to. We had so much on the horizon. The shows coming up, and everything just. Yeah, that was a fun spot. I had done a party there, and I had Rock and Joe said you guys had a blast that night.
Oh, it's a cool setup too, and like because it was Valentine's Day, like they were like they had like flowers and stuff for sale. They had like, but the food looked good too because they had like the whole like they have like that like wood fire like pizza, so they had like that whole setup, and then like the everything.
What was the name of that place? The Berkeley Beer Company or something like that. Berkeley.
Familiar. I did like a handful of breweries like right before this started, so that sounds familiar though.
I think that was the name of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool because like they had like it was like picnic tables. That's like a lot of times at breweries they just have like picnic tables. You just are like surrounded by people, and like it was
Yeah.
just it was a cool setup. There was like a little like section in the back for us to like all like hang out, so we weren't like out like, you know, sitting right there in the, you know, the main area and whatnot, because that can be distracting sometimes at like a show after you do a set and then you're like in the audience and you're like, oh yeah, you know, and then people are like, oh, there's that person that was just on stage, you know, and then it's distracting. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like when there's a place to go hide. So they had a place.
I've had an interesting guy. I found some, you know, cleaning out the basement and stuff. I found some old VHS VCR tapes, and
Yes.
I put it on Facebook. I said anybody, and it turns out a friend of mine that used to do comedy. He produces movies and he does that. He converts, you know, like movies, and
Oh
so I
wow.
had some home movies and he
Yep.
converted it. I got a half-hour movie of me when I was a baby with my mother pushing the carriage,
God.
my father, my
Yep.
grandfather, my grandmother holding me, my cousin with a hula hoop, and all kind of in a half hour. I said it was like from 60 years ago. This video, this
Oh my
movie,
God, that is
yeah,
so cool.
like
Did he convert it to like a like
DVDs,
I know.
DVDs,
I was just
yeah,
gonna say DVD, but I didn't want you to be like, no, like we're going a few more years into the
yeah,
future, you know, because now
yeah,
DVDs are starting to be phasing out with things, you know. So it's all like these streaming services and stuff.
oh,
But like, you know,
yeah,
what's funny is I actually just unplugged my VCR today because it's not working, and I didn't need like another device plugged in. So I actually unplugged it today, but I do
yeah.
still have a VCR. I'm
Oh
hoping to like
wow.
get it working again because I have a lot of VHS tapes that I don't want to get rid of.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I have a DVD player too.
And I had some VCR tapes, and I had him convert those too. They were labeled when I started comedy, like Periwinkle's Comedy Club, 1991.
Oh my God.
Uh, the Great Impasta, this restaurant we used to do in Warwick, Rhode Island, 1992.
Mhm.
So I got 3 DVDs full. I looked through them. Like some of them are other comedians, friends of mine from the past,
Yep.
and some of them there were sets that I did. Some of them were all right, and some of them were god awful. Because
Oh my.
I was just starting out. So I got my first set when I actually did it in the 80s. I stopped for 8 years. I came back in 91. I have my first time on stage at Periwinkle's Comedy Club in 1991. It's like a 6 minute set. And I got that. That's on there. I watched that. I put a little clip of it on Facebook the other day, but a lot of it, I'm going to put some of it on, not some of it on my YouTube channel because some of it I can't use the material. Some of the obviously I was starting out, so some bits are good,
Right.
some are not so good.
Oh, John, I remember starting at like
Yeah,
17 and 18 years old, and you know,
yeah,
and times were a lot different. And also, like, you know, I'm hanging out with people that are like in their like 30s and 40s, and I'm like, you know, 17, like I want to be cool, you know, like
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
you know. And now I'm
yeah.
looking back, I'm like, oh, Jessica, like just put your foot in your damn mouth, you know what I mean? Like, you know, just like I'm happy that I took I took what was it like I think a 6 year break because like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had a lot of life experience in those 6 years, like from, you know,
yeah.
there's a huge difference when you start, for me at least,
So
starting
you
off,
started comedy at 17?
I was like 17 or 18. I was
Where did you go?
start
Where
I
did
think
you
I
perform
think
at when
I
you
was
started?
well, I think I was 18 or 19 when I first started comedy, but when I started hanging around like the open mic scene, I was like 17 because I remember still being in high school. So it
And
was like
where did you go, Jess?
well, do you remember in Norwood the Vegas Lounge that Roman Pierce used to run? That
No, I heard about it. I never went there.
it's not even there anymore. They had really good pizza. And it used to be Mad Maggie's in Norwood, over on like Vanderbilt
I
Ave.
heard of that place. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to have like pool tables and like really good like just like bar pizza and stuff like that. And like so that was like the first open mic that I went and like hung around at. And like a lot of the comics that were going there some have like now like advanced like tremendously, and you know some aren't really around anymore. It just feels like it was so long ago. So it was, but my first set like at an open mic was in front of all comics at Napper Tandy's in Norwood, and they had all just come from Catch a Rising Star. So like they had all just come from like a really fun show. Apparently, I guess it was like a really fun night too. Like one of the guys that was there had like won and like advanced in the contest, and they're like, oh, now we're at like an open mic, really? And like somebody was like, okay, like can we give Jess some support though? Like it's her first time, and you guys are just like coming off of like a fire show, you know. So, but they were really supportive, and it ended up being like I remember like the first time, like it was like I actually had a lot more confidence than I did the second time coming back into comedy, telling my real story and not just like, you know, so I had this like masked confidence, you know, of just like, you know, trying to like sound like how I think other people want me to sound, or trying to be like the most offensive or the most edgy, you know, and that's just not me as a person, you know. I look back, I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, but actually like talking as you, it rattles you in a different type of way. At least it did for me, you know, being on stage and being like that vulnerable and open. I was like, oh my God, you know, like this is what this feels like to be like present on stage with myself, talking to myself and telling jokes into a microphone. So I don't know.
Crazy. Some of the material I had was, like, I didn't really do crowd work back then. I had material, but some was good, some was god awful. I was like looking, like I had to fast forward some of it. So I got like these 3 DVDs now loaded with stuff. Some of it's good, some of it's awful. So we'll take what I can use and put it on YouTube. But I used to go to Norwood, Mass. There was an open mic in 91, 92. It was at the El Torito in Norwood, Mass. And it's now, I think, the Chalet, I think it's called, or something like that.
Is it
Chateau, maybe.
Oh, okay. So I've only known that place when it's been the Chateau. I love the Chateau. That's one of my like family's like favorite spots. But on Route 1, and it stands.
Yeah, they used to have an open mic every Saturday night, and you know, a lot of different comics, Freddie Stone and all different comics used to go, and I'd go. You get like 6 minutes, and it'd be like 15 guys, 20 guys, a lot of Boston guys, and I started going there every Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I remember when it was like 2010 and I was trying to put together like a benefit show that ended up falling through because somebody booked like this, they were raising money for the same cause like the next day or the day before, I forget where it was, in like a bigger hall and like a nicer hall, and like they had like way better advertising than I did. So I'm like, I'm gonna take my little show away, although my lineup for my show was banging because it was you, it was like Kyle Plouffe, it was Sarah Blodgett, like I had like so many good people in that lineup. But I remember like when I reached out to you and you were like, oh my God, Norwood, and like you were super like excited about Norwood, and so that makes a whole lot of sense. But I think, wasn't there something else that you used to do in Norwood too?
I just remember the El Torito. I worked for Patrick Collins, or maybe it was Dedham or Norwood. It was the British Beer Company. I did a show over there for him. I'm not sure of anything else in Norwood. I know the El Torito. I always remember that. I used to go there quite a bit back in the day.
Yeah. My grandparents had their 50th wedding anniversary there when it was the Chateau though. But my family's been like going to the Chateau, I feel like forever now. But
we used to have a lot of fun that open mic and Periwinkle's Comedy Club. Well, I did it in 83 and then 91 and 92, and then they closed, unfortunately. But I got some old videos of me there, which is it's mind blowing because as I'm saying these jokes and I'm thinking back, and I remember that. I remember that bit. And I forgot some stuff I used to do. You know, it's 30 years ago.
Right.
Some of the stuff, like if you ever watch it, it's like some of it I would never put out because it's so bad. You would actually look at it and John did that. Oh my God.
I actually wouldn't, because like I remember when I was like first starting, and like at least from what I was seeing, you know, like every comic was just like it was kind of a free for all. That's what I saw, you know, and I'm obviously, you know, a very young kid, you know, fresh out of high school or still in high school, you know, and I'm like, oh, like I want to make people surprised, you know, and now I'm like, I don't want to do that actually, you know, and I'm like, you know, so it's like I needed that life experience. I needed that that time, but also like just times were just kind of, you know what I mean? Like for comedy, like everybody was just kind of saying like whatever. And that was like one of my first exposures to like the comedy scene. So I wouldn't really be surprised. I don't know. I know a lot of comics that have told material that they're like, I'm not doing that anymore. That was a good learning curve. That was a good learning lesson, so I feel like so many people are in this spot. Like
I was actually, when I started, believe it or not, there was a lot of political stuff going on in Rhode Island, a lot of corruption. And I did political humor. I was a prop comic. I used to go up there. I literally went up with a handful of stuff, put it on the stool.
Yep.
I mean, I threw a wig on. I did this impersonation. I did Mikhail Gorbachev, the Soviet Union. I had a bald. I take a wig off. I had a bald with the mark he used to have, and I did all kind of wacky stuff. You know what I mean?
When did you stop with the props?
I started in 91, 92, probably by 93, 94. Cause I started out with them, but then as time went on, I had some crazy. I went up. I had a wig. I had a pink wig. I'm looking at this video. I don't remember this. I had a pink wig, and I'm looking at this video, and I got up and I said, "I'm the president of the Punk Hair Club for Men." I said, "The Punk Hair Club for Men." I got a pink wig on. I'm looking at it and say, "What are you, out of your mind? Where did this wig go? I never saw it since. I don't know. I don't ever remember doing that. Where I got it, I have no idea."
Completely blanked out a pink wig face.
Yeah, it's a big pink wig, long hair, pink wig.
I can't picture you doing this. Yeah.
I'm looking at myself. I went up on stage with this thing, and I got up and I said to the president of the Punk Hair Club for Men. I took that off. I had something else on. I took that off. I had something else. I was doing. There was a corrupt banker back then. He took off. He stole like millions of dollars, and I had a doll. I named it after him, and I used to do this bit with the doll and throw it off the wall. I had all these crazy props, and I was just really nuts. You know what I mean? That was crazy. God. And I used to pace. Like now, I don't really pace. I mean, I really.
Yes.
All over the place, like walking back and forth, and
yep.
I had a different style, a whole different act, and thank God I didn't stay like that.
Yeah, that's when I was first coming around, like the very first time. I also used to pace, like I used to like walk around, like which is like weird because I definitely like stay in one spot. Actually, like when I was first like coming back in, like somebody made a comment. They're like, "Jess, you might want to take the microphone stand out of the way." So then I just made it part of my process of when I get on stage, the first thing I do is move the microphone stand so that I'm not standing behind it because it's very distracting. And, but things that you don't really think of when you're like, I just want to, when you're me getting on stage and panicking, it's like, it's a different type of story. So, but,
another crazy thing I did, I had a tape recorder. And I would say the name of a celebrity or something, and I put the mic and put the tape recorder on, and a song would play. And then I would say the name of somebody else, and a song would play. What the heck? I had tape recorders up there, wigs, dolls. I mean, now I just go up and grab the mic when I go up, and I just do my thing. I don't have anything. I used to bring all this stuff up. All this, it was crazy.
God. Yeah. You've literally tried everything though with comedy. Like you literally went down like the checklist and like figured out like what works like best for you. And you're like, you literally tried it all. I mean,
I did. Yeah. I tried a lot of stuff. Yes. I tried a lot of stuff, man. That was crazy.
That's awesome.
I had a lot of fun, but it's hard. I was so thin back in 91. I had dark hair. It was like, I had a beard during the early 90s, dark beard, dark hair, thin, I got myself a different club. I'm watching, I'm like, holy cow. Jesus, 30 years went by.
Oh my Crazy. God. Oh my God.
Yeah, now I'm in the twilight of my career.
I'm in the Twilight Zone, so so.
You're in the Twilight Zone, and I'm in the twilight of my career. That's why this show works.
Yes, yes.
That's
I think I'm always going to be in the Twilight Zone. I think I've actually always been in the Twilight Zone, and just
me too, Jess.
fifth dimension. Yep. Just, that's, yeah. I have actually been, like, I was binge watching the Twilight Zone for a while because I've been going over it on the podcast that I'm doing with Aaron Leidecker, the verbal.
Oh, yeah.
So we were talking about the Twilight Zone, but we've like taken a pause and are now talking about ice cream and like other random things because we can't stay on topic. So
Yeah. The Twilight Zone. I always loved that show.
yeah, I like that show a lot. It's really good. And I used to watch it when I was a kid, and like I used to stay home like from, when I would stay home from school or whatever, because it would be on the Sci-Fi Channel. But like, and I thought I understood it then, but like when you get older, you just appreciate so much more, like the lessons and all of it. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. So
yeah, Rod Sterling, he was unbelievable, the stuff he put out.
That's just such a good show.
Yeah. We were talking with Mike Crona last week. You were on that episode. You don't like horror movies. Do you like horror movies, Jess? I forget.
Yeah, I do like horror movies a lot. I went through a phase where I wasn't watching any because I live alone in the woods, and like there was like I just didn't think it was, because I have a startle response. Like I can't sit there and like pretend that I'm like tough and not scared or anything. Like I dumped a vodka soda all over a guy I was dating one time, like Skittles in the movie theater one time because something scared me and it hit the people in front of us. Like, I mean, I screamed in a movie theater at a part that wasn't scary, and it was a sold out show and everybody laughed. So like it was,
who's this?
I thought something scary was going to happen, and it was just a guy like slipping on a pile of water on the floor, but it was like this loud noise. So I screamed, and like everyone like laughed in the theater. It was like really terrible. It was funny, but it was bad. So like, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this like by myself and like watch like horror movies. And then like I walked through it because I watched the movie It by Stephen King, and like I had never seen it before, which is crazy because my favorite horror movie is Pet Sematary, and
I love Pet Sematary.
Oh my God, that's my favorite horror movie of all time. But
they redid it, but it wasn't the original was really good.
Yeah, I didn't see the new one, but but like everyone's talked about it for years, and they're like, how could you have never seen that? And I haven't seen like a lot of stuff. So I decided to watch that one, and it was actually really scary.
Did you see the original It, or did you see the one? Okay, I don't think I saw the original. I saw the new one that came out a couple of years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Parts. No, but I saw
that was really good.
Yeah. I liked it. I really did. I liked the movie a lot, and I liked like what like a lot of it was about, like like facing like fears and stuff like that. I thought that was really, really cool. But like the ending, I was like, the ending was a little off the wall, but like it just took a direction that I was like, what are we doing here? So I was like, it had me through the whole thing, and then until the very end I was like, what are we doing here? And I got a little lost, but maybe somebody else can explain it to me at another time. But yeah, I got a little lost at the end.
Did you see The Shining? That was one of my favorites.
We talked about that before. So I have seen The Shining in pieces, but I've seen the whole movie. Like, it's weird. Like, I've always I've walked in when somebody else is like watching it, and like I have literally, I want to say like I've seen the part where like the like really hot lady all of a sudden turns like scary and like creepy, that part, and like the hallway part, and then like Jack Nicholson like running through the outdoor thing,
the maze.
Yeah, and like
that was crazy.
I've seen like the whole movie, like it's, you know what I mean, it's like, but just in weird pieces. I've never actually sat down and like watched the whole thing, and like it was.
I happened to be in the store the other day, and I looked down, and it was The Shining for $5, the DVD. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna buy it, because if you buy it when you go to rent it online, it's on the TV, Cox Cable, it's like $20. You got to buy it. So I saw it for $5. I said, I don't know, I'll watch it a couple of times. I'll buy it for $5.
Oh my God!
I got one of these nights. I got to put it on.
It's the scariest thing in the world when you walk in and you ask somebody like, hey, what are you watching? And they're like, oh, I'm watching The Shining. And like, it's the part where like the woman, you know, it's like she's like, you know, I just remember a woman, and I want to say she was naked, but maybe not, like I don't know, but it was like just you know, like somebody being like mesmerized by this, and then she turns around, she's this like scary like lady, and like it's when you walk in and it's just that part, like I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this whole thing, like it's so scary.
Yeah,
It was so scary.
I
Yeah.
loved it when Jack Nicholson had the axe and his wife was in the bathroom when he's smashing the door. That was crazy.
I've seen that part too. It's yeah,
Says,
I
here's Johnny. I
yeah.
love that, man.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jack Nicholson, I think, is one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's great. I saw it. I love Jack Nicholson. I mean, he's not doing anything anymore. I think he's retired. He's like in his 80s. I think I read something. He was forgetting lines. Supposedly, he denies. I mean, I don't know, but he hasn't done anything in quite a while now.
Oh, what was
Yeah.
the movie about where he has OCD? Is it
Oh, I know the one you mean.
Yeah,
I saw
like
that.
Is it To Have and Have? No, I'm thinking of a Humphrey Bogart movie. I don't know.
Everything he's done has been great. Jack Nicholson. Most everything he's been. He's an awesome actor.
Yeah, I really like him in Anger Management with Adam Sandler.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
So
I saw a horror movie years ago. It's called, you probably never heard of it, called Burnt Offerings. I think it was made in the 70s.
No, but that sounds
Burnt,
incredible.
Burnt Offerings. The guy, I think Robert Allen was his name, and was this actress, Karen Black, was kind of creepy in a lot of horror movies. I liked her. It was this old house. They wound up, it was crazy movie. You never watched that, called Burnt Offerings.
I want to say like I've heard of that before, because like I do like, you know, like classic films, like because last time we were talking about Psycho, because Mike has never seen Psycho, and that's like one of my favorite movies of all time. I have like a poster of it like on my wall. It's yeah, and
that movie was unbelievable.
That was a really good movie.
I saw that when I was young. I mean, I remember my dad on TV. I must have been 8 years old and watching Psycho.
Yeah.
That scared me.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like The Shining, I've been walking in on since I was like 4 years old. You know what I mean? So I've been piecing the whole thing together, and I'm like, I don't even know what's what. I don't even know fully what the movie's about. Like, I just know they're staying in a hotel, and he, you know, loses his mind. I'm like, oh, so this is, you know, I understand, you know, but yeah.
Well, you're a therapist, so you should know.
Yeah. I'm also a huge Pink Floyd fan. Pink Floyd The Wall I watched the other day, because I watched that once a year. I like need to watch that like once a year, and like I was watching it the other day, and like it's the same type of thing. Like he, you know, main character in the movie Pink is like, you know, losing his mind in a you know, in a hotel room, and like, you know, it goes on a whole thing with that. But yeah, that's I don't know, I'm gonna have to sit down and like actually watch The Shining like as an adult, and like, you know, really watch the thing. But yeah, I remember walking in on some really scary parts to that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it one of these nights. I got it, you know, so I want to check it out.
Yeah.
Any other good horror movies you like?
Good horror movies. Well, so we already talked about Pet Sematary, Psycho. Trying to think of.
I want to watch Pet Sematary some night too. That was awesome.
Oh my God! I know. We should watch that with Mike. That would be.
I can't get Mike to watch a horror movie.
That would be like that one. I mean, you might turn around and see me like hiding in a bush somewhere. Like that's Pet Sematary like scares me. I think every single time I watch it.
When the little kid was near the end, he was walking around. He was like, oh man, he was creepy.
Yeah,
creepy. He had the knife. He had a knife, I think, and
yes.
That was like.
The whole thing
is
wild. Yeah, the whole thing is like
good really... family movie.
Oh, exactly. I know. I'm trying to think of like, because I have watched like some, you know, horror movies for like for the first time I watched Friday the 13th, and I just wasn't really scared because I think I, you know, should have watched that a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like, but now that I've seen so many other things, like I am, you know, like if anything, I was just getting annoyed, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm like, run, or like go in that direction, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm just getting like resentful. As I'm
they were all right. The first time I saw Halloween and Friday the 13th, they were all right. But I mean, The Shining, Psycho, those
Yes.
movies are way better. Pet
Yeah.
Cemetery, those are movies
Yeah.
are
Yeah. I
much better
try to
than
do,
that,
like
you know.
Stephen King movies, like Carrie was really good.
Carrie, that's a good one. Yeah, I remember that when I was young, watching that. That
Yeah,
was nuts. That was
that
crazy.
yeah, that's a really good one. Thinner is really good. Where the guy like keeps losing weight because somebody puts like a curse on him, like and like
I don't think I saw that one. How was that one? Is that Stephen King? That's Stephen King, right?
that one's that's Stephen King, and that's the other thing I love about Stephen King is that like a lot of times like his movies, even if it's not like jump out like boo scary, it like really like there's a lot of things that like really get you thinking, and he's just like so talented with the way that like he is even able to pull that off. There was a series that I watched called like I remember I was like 10 years old and I loved it. It was called like Storm of the Century, and it was by Stephen King. I think it was
Oh, yeah.
it was either based on like, are all of his movies based on books? I think so, right?
Most of them, yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So this was like I want to say it was like a 3-part series or something like that. Like in, on the good old days where you had to make sure that you were in front of the TV because there was no DVR or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, and like that I really liked that a lot. And I don't really like fully remember what it was about. Like somebody like this guy like from like another planet or something like shows up in this town and he keeps saying like give me what I want and I'll go away, and it was a child that he wanted, and he like took somebody's like son and like goes off into wherever or whatever. But yeah, it was the whole thing was like it was good. Like I liked it. So but that wasn't like really like boo scary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what else is up, Jess? We covered horror movies. We covered the old comedy days.
I
What
know.
else can we talk about on this week's weekly
Well,
check-in? What else we got?
I squeezed in Pink Floyd. I squeezed in music, so
You got the Pink Floyd in there.
I had to squeeze in Pink Floyd.
I love Pink Floyd. I had the album when I was a kid, Dark Side of the Moon. I have never seen the movie, the
Do you mean
Pink Floyd movie.
the wall
Never
movie?
seen it.
Yeah.
I love Pink Floyd. I'd probably enjoy it.
Yes, it definitely like it's and a lot of people like will they'll say like, oh, you have to like take drugs when you watch it. I disagree. The first time I saw The Wall I was 16 years old, not under the influence of anything, and I like thoroughly enjoyed it. But I am just naturally in another dimension, so that's the great thing. I don't need drugs. I'm just crazy. So
You're just crazy, and you're a therapist.
I'm just crazy. I don't need drugs. I can just be crazy and and just already be there. So it's great.
Is it a concert movie or is it a story or?
No, it's a so there's hardly any dialogue besides the music, and like there's also like a lot of the music that's some of the music that's in the movie isn't on the album, and some of the songs that were on the album isn't in the movie. But basically it's like it goes like it cuts in and out. Like the main character's name is Pink, and it's about him like really like basically going mad in his hotel room, and like it like tells his life story and like how he basically got from like the point when he was a kid to like where he was then. And like, oh my God, just like as an entertainer, as somebody, who has a very, extensive, like, trauma history and stuff like that. It's just like, I absolutely love it, for like many, many different reasons. And like, it's good. Like it's, there are parts where it like shifts into things that, you can, that would be, some people would refer to as trippy, or whatnot. But like, I consider it just like educational, and like, I understand why it's going in that direction. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's like, it's one of the most fascinating things I've ever watched. So
Wow.
I recommend
Definitely
it.
check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out.
And then you're going to tell me, what am I watching?
I'll check it out. And I like it, great. If I don't, I'll say, hey,
Yeah.
Jess,
Yeah.
what do you got me watching here?
I know. Yeah. A lot. It depends. Like it's something that like the first time I watched it, there was so much I didn't understand. And then like, it's, like as time went on, like I would understand like more and more things. And now what's cool about it is like, I feel like every time I watch it, I see something that I didn't see like before that. And I'm like,
So you watch it once a year, you watch it?
yeah. Yeah.
Some people watch like Wizard of Oz once a year.
I do
Just
that too.
watch Pink Floyd The Wall
I
once
do
a
that
year.
too. I do
You
that
do that too?
You can also watch. You can also mute the Wizard of Oz, and you can play the Dark Side of the Moon track.
Oh yeah.
Watch it, and YouTube right now has the whole thing streamed, so you don't have to guess like when the MGM lion roars and all that stuff. So yeah, I like the Wizard of Oz too. That's a really good movie.
Oh yeah, it's a classic. It's a
Yeah.
classic. I loved Judy Garland when I was a kid. I
Yeah.
thought she was beautiful.
Yes.
And I watched the movie that came out on her a year or two ago.
Yes.
Named Judy. I forget who was it Renee? What's her name?
Renee Zellweger.
Reese Weather. I forget who was the character. She did great. I forget the one that played the actress that played it, but Judy was a really good movie. If you like history, you know, I like biographies on famous singers and different real life things. You know what I mean? And it was a really good movie.
I have a book right now that I haven't started. It was my grandfather's book about Louis B. Mayer from MGM, because my great grandfather he used to work with him. They used to like project like movies together, and he
worked with Louis B. Mayer.
Yeah,
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, he actually so he asked my great grandfather if he would go to LA with him to work on a project that he was working on, and my great grandfather said he couldn't because he had a family life here, you know, and whatnot. And Louis B. Mayer went out to California and started, you know, MGM. So my great grandfather totally could have gone to like California and like done the whole MGM thing, but like didn't go in that direction. So like
you'd be a millionaire now, Jess.
I know. I don't think I would be here because then the cards wouldn't have like fallen that way. You know what I mean? Like, because it would have been like then like my grandfather wouldn't have met my grandmother and all that stuff. But like it's but yeah, I know the thought of like growing up in like sunny California, like a millionaire. I'm like sometimes I get in my head about it for sure. No, but but I'm like excited to like start his book because I like that kind of stuff. I like biographies and stuff like that. And like it sounds like he has like a really cool story too. And like I feel like most like of the movies that have come out of like MGM, I really appreciate most of the time. So it's like Wizard of Oz, The Wall is another one, and so
yeah. I think we're at about a wrap, Jess.
I think so too. We went on for a while. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we usually have three or four guests. We went back to our roots tonight.
Yeah.
You and I, like we started, and it's been about 4 months. We've been having fun. I've been having fun doing it. We're on next week, and we do it usually every Thursday, and so I've enjoyed it. You know.
Yes.
I can remember our first one. It was crazy. We were. I didn't know what we were doing. It was just all.
Yeah. People's reactions, they were the best because I feel like people were like, this would happen, like, you know. But yeah, that was and you were on the phone with Bo for like hours trying to figure this thing out.
Thank God for Bo Applegate. He got us going. Without him, if you ever told me I'd be able to figure out Zoom and how to do this, put it on Facebook after, and I'd say, no way, it's not going to happen.
But John, like once you got the ball rolling, you're like, I'm going to talk to everybody. Like, and you're doing like 4 of these a week. That's awesome because that's so important. Like that social piece of somehow, you know what I mean, of staying connected to people, like, because it's, you know.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I get to see all my old comedy friends I haven't seen, and I really wouldn't see in the last 6 months any of them hardly. And I get to come on here and, you know, see you and all the comics. You know, it's kind of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've had some bigger headliners on, like Chris Tabb, Christine Hurley, Tammy Pescatelli, Johnny Peasy, different comics, and then I've had the newer comics, and I've been mixing it up. I've been having a ball, you know.
Yeah, no, that's.
I really look forward to it, you know.
I've seen you've had some like reoccurring people too, like Mike Cronin comes on a lot, and then
Mike Cronin's you're my Thursday night co-host. He's like my sidekick in a lot of the other shows.
Yeah. Stacey Kendro, who's so funny. I saw her headline one night in Worcester, and oh my God, she's like one of the funniest people.
She comes on. She does she does her brother Rocco, her mother. She does these characters, and you got to see her when she does her mother segment. She's right in right
She
in
had
the.
that place like falling apart. Like, I mean, oh my God, definitely one of like the best people I've seen headline a show. She was great.
Yeah, I love Stacy. I've known Stacy a long time. We did a lot of stuff together, and then she moved out to New York, and we stayed. When I went out to Dangerfields, and she came over there, I saw her and John O'Connor and Doug Key and Beecher, and then I went over to Greenwich Village Comedy Club. Stacy was running a show there, like
Yes.
every once a week, and I did a spot over there, and she's really a great person. Yeah.
Yeah, I did Greenwich.
Funny.
Greenwich Village Comedy Club, I think, was the first show that I did in New York City. That was like, yeah, I think that was the first show that I did. Yep. Yes, it was, because I did an open mic before that, but that was like a little bit different. But yeah, I know.
I know. I talked to Stacy. Right now there's no comedy in New York other than some outside stuff. There's no. I guess they're not allowing the comedy clubs to open right now. So this is definitely a tough stretch for comedy, you know.
Yeah, I can't even imagine like New York City right now. Yeah, but I've seen you had like Jay Burns on a whole bunch of times.
Yeah,
too.
I get Jay on and
yeah,
a lot of different guys. And I'm having fun with it, you know. Fun with everybody. You know, we have some shows are better than others. We have a good time.
Yeah.
So people want to, you know, we get a decent amount of views, you know.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty fun, you know.
Yeah.
But that's the story, Jess. I'm gonna watch The Wall. I'm gonna watch Pet Cemetery. I gotta watch The Shining again. I gotta stop watching the news.
I gotta watch The Shining. Yes.
I gotta stop watching. I watch too much news. I don't want to politics on air, but it's making me crazy.
Yeah, I think you need to take a break and watch Pet Cemetery. You know, scare yourself and then go back to the news. You know, it's
the news scares me more than Pet Cemetery.
I know.
That's what's bad, Jess.
Yeah.
Hey, it's great seeing you tonight.
Too, Sean.
Next Thursday we'll do this again, and
yes,
hopefully down the road I'll get you booked at some shows again
and actually get to see you in person. Yes.
Yeah, it'll be a little while, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
I miss the comedy. I miss all my friends. I miss it. You know, I miss hanging out at the clubs and after the show and the whole 9 yards. You know.
Yes.
We had so much laughs at that contest at the Knights of Columbus and
I know.
Copperfield. We had a lot of laughs. I always enjoy hanging out with you. You're a great person.
You're one of my favorite people, like, ever. And
you're one of my favorite people too.
I feel like if I like even, because so many comics come on, and they're like, they go on like a 5-minute rampage about how awesome John Perrotta is. And I feel like if I try to say anything, I'm just going to end up taking somebody else's like words, but you are one of my favorite people. Like it's, you're just an awesome human being. Like,
I appreciate that, Jess. Yeah. I appreciate it. I always try to help everybody. And, like I always told you, I always treat the new comic the same as I do the headliners. And I think that philosophy, when you're booking shows, it works. You treat everybody good.
Yeah.
It comes back to you. You know what I mean? If you want, like some bookers I've known through the years, not so nice. And I don't think it's worth it to be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it pays to be a nice person. Try to be a nice person,
I agree with that. 100%.
I mean, you're not going to like everybody and everybody's not going to like you, but you do the best you can.
Exactly. Yeah.
To try to get along.
Try to put good out in a world that's that could need it,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love you, Jess.
I love you too, John.
I will see you next week.
Yes.
Do this again with the weekly check-in. Yes. Stay healthy. Good luck with your patients.
Yes.
And have patience with your patients.
Yes, I will. Yes. And I'm also a patient, so I'll go.
And I'm a patient too. I got a counselor too. So everybody's in therapy.
Yes. Yes, it's a good thing.
It's 2020. If you're not in therapy yet, you will be.
You want to get there. Yes.
All right, Jess.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.